Things go wrong in cruise cabins, and most of the time, it's not the ship's fault. After decades of sailing nearly every major line out there, I've come to realize that the biggest mistakes people make aren't the dramatic ones. They're the quiet ones. The ones that cost you money you didn't need to spend, or comfort you didn't know you were giving up, or a night's sleep that should have been easy. And almost all of them are avoidable if somebody tells you first. Welcome back. If you've been cruising for years, maybe decades, you know that a cruise cabin is a small world with its own rules. And the cruisers who get the most out of it aren't the ones with the fanciest suite. They're the ones who know what not to do the moment they walk through that door. That's what today is about. I'm going to walk you through 17 things I never do in my cruise cabin and why. Some of these you've probably heard before. Some will surprise you. And there's one toward the end that I consider the most important of all. It's the kind of thing most people only learn after something goes wrong, and I'd rather you hear it now. If this is helpful, tap the thumbs up before you go. It really does make a difference. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. Let's get into it. We'll start with the ones that seem obvious but catch people out more than you'd think. Then move into the ones almost nobody talks about, the ones that separate the veteran cruisers from the first-timers. Number 1. Never leave cash or valuables sitting out on your desk or nightstand. This one sounds basic, and yet I've seen it catch people out more times than I can count. The in-room safe exists for a reason. Use it every single day. Your passport, your travel cash, a spare credit card, any jewelry you brought along, anything you'd be devastated to lose. It takes about 30 seconds to lock it up, and the peace of mind is worth every one of those seconds. Some cruisers I've talked to over the years say they feel safe because it's a ship, because the cabin steward is trustworthy, because nothing ever happens. And most of the time, nothing does. But all it takes is one port day with your door propped open and a stranger in the corridor. Use the safe. Number 2, never ignore the location of your cabin before you book it. I know by the time you're reading this, you may have already booked, but for next time, this matters enormously, especially for those of us who feel motion more than we used to, or who don't want to walk the length of a football field every time we head to dinner. Midship cabins on a lower to middle deck are the gold standard for stability and short distances. The very front and very back of the ship move more, you'll feel every wave. In a cabin directly above or below a nightclub, a galley, or a pool deck is a noise problem that no amount of earplugs fully solves. Check the deck plan before you commit. Number 3, never crank the air conditioning all the way down and leave it. Cruise ship air conditioning is powerful, genuinely powerful. A lot of cabins can get cold enough to feel like a walk-in refrigerator by 2 in the morning. And for those of us who feel temperature changes more keenly as we get older, waking up stiff and chilled is not a great start to a port day. Set it to a comfortable level before you go to sleep. Bring a light layer, a cardigan, a thin travel blanket, and keep it at the foot of the bed. It's a small thing, and it makes a real difference. Number 4, never let the minibar tempt you without checking the policy first. Here's something the cruise lines are not going to highlight in the welcome letter. The minibar is not complimentary on most ships. On lines like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian, those snacks and drinks are charged individually and the prices are steep. We're talking somewhere around $5 to $8 for a small bottle of water, $10 or more for a tiny bottle of spirits. Before you touch anything, check the in-room materials or call the front desk and ask exactly what's included and what isn't. If you're on a line like Celebrity or Holland America with a package that covers it, great. If not, know before you reach. This is a good moment to mention something that comes up again and again from cruisers who want to go beyond the quick tips and get into the real detail. Everything I'm covering today, the cabin setup, the fees to watch for, the upgrades that actually matter, it's all covered in depth in the Seasoned Cruisers Complete Pack. I put it together for cruisers who want a complete reference they can go back to every time they book, not just a list of reminders. You'll find the link in the description below, or you can scan the code on your screen right now. And speaking of things most people overlook, what's coming up next is one that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. Number 5, never leave your key card near your phone or other electronics. This one is small, but it's genuinely annoying when it happens. The magnetic strip on your cabin key card can be demagnetized by your smartphone, by another card in your wallet, even by some electronics. You'll end up at guest services at 10 at night wondering why your door won't open. Keep the card in a separate pocket or a card sleeve on its own. It's the kind of thing seasoned cruisers figure out the hard way and then never forget. Number 6, never skip unpacking. I know it feels unnecessary, especially on a shorter sailing, but living out of a suitcase in a small cabin for 5, 7, or 10 days is genuinely exhausting in a low-level constant way. The closets and drawers on most ships are more generous than people expect, especially on lines like Holland America and Princess, which tend to design their cabins with longer sailings in mind. Use the hangers. Use the drawers. Slide your empty suitcase under the bed. Your cabin will feel twice as large, and you won't be rooting around at 6 in the morning trying to find a clean shirt. Have you developed a cabin routine over the years, something you always do the moment you walk in? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I'm always curious what fellow veteran cruisers have figured out. Number 7, never overlook the towel animals. Now, this one goes in a different direction from the others. This isn't a warning, it's a reminder. The towel animals your cabin steward leaves each night are one of the small, genuine joys of cruising, and a lot of longtime cruisers start ignoring them after a few sailings. Don't. The people making those take real care and real pride in the work. A simple thank you that made us smile the next time you see them costs nothing and means a great deal. And while we're on the subject of cabin stewards, tip them appropriately. The gratuity you prepay or that gets added to your account is a starting point, not a ceiling, for someone who is making your cabin a comfortable home every single day. Number 8, never store medication in an inconsistent place. This is one I feel strongly about for those of us who take daily prescriptions. On a ship, your routine changes, mealtime shift, excursions run long, time zones may creep in on longer itineraries. Keep your medications in the same spot every single day. A travel pill organizer with the days labeled is genuinely useful, not just for convenience, but for peace of mind. And always keep at least a few days of extras in your carry-on when you board, separate from your checked luggage, in case bags are delayed at embarkation. If you have any questions about how specific medications interact with seasickness, patches, or other ship-related health products, that's a conversation to have with your doctor before you sail. Number 9, never assume the bed configuration is set up the way you want it. Most cabin stewards will set the beds as 2 twins or 1 queen based on the booking information, but it doesn't always land correctly. If you're traveling with a partner and want a queen, or if you're traveling solo and want both beds for more space, just ask. Ask before you board if you can through the cruise line's app or by calling ahead and confirm with your steward on the first day. It takes one conversation and they will sort it out, usually within the hour. Number 10, never leave the make up my room sign logic to chance. Different lines handle housekeeping differently. Now several have moved to opt-in models where you have to actively request twice daily service or even once daily cleaning. Royal Caribbean and Carnival have both adjusted their housekeeping schedules in recent years. Know what your line offers, and if daily service matters to you, and for many of us it does, it's one of the genuine pleasures of cruising. Make that request on day 1. Don't assume it's automatic. Stay with me, because the item I consider most important is still coming, and it's the one that I think catches more experienced cruisers off guard than any other. Number 11, never use the in-room phone for anything you could handle at the desk or on the app. This is a small efficiency tip that compounds over a week. The hold times on in-room phones during busy periods, sail away, formal nights, sea days can be surprisingly long. If something is not urgent, walk to the guest services desk during an off-peak hour or use the cruise line's app if they have one. Lines like Royal Caribbean with the Royal app, Norwegian with theirs, and MSC have made it genuinely easier to handle a lot of requests without waiting on hold. Use those tools. They'll save you 20 minutes you could spend on the pool deck. Number 12, never ignore the noise level before you settle in. When you first arrive in your cabin, before you unpack, before anything, spend 2 minutes just listening. Can you hear the engines? Is there a hum from the HVAC that's going to bother you overnight? Is there corridor noise from a stairwell nearby? If something is noticeably disruptive in the first 5 minutes, go to guest services while it's still day 1. Cabins do get swapped, especially early in the sailing if there's a genuine issue. Waiting until day 3 makes it much harder. Number 13, never keep your balcony door open when the ship is moving at sea. I know, it sounds lovely, the sea breeze, the sound of the waves. And it is lovely, for about 15 minutes. But an open balcony door on a moving ship creates a pressure differential that slams interior doors, scatters papers, and can actually make the cabin's air system work against you. More practically, on some ships, leaving the balcony door open while the AC is running will trigger an automatic shutoff the ship knows, and it cuts the air conditioning. If you want fresh air, enjoy the balcony. Close the door behind you. Number 14, never drink the tap water without checking. On most modern cruise ships, the tap water meets safe drinking standards, but it can taste strongly of chlorine, and on some itineraries in certain regions, you may want to stick to bottled water anyway. The bigger point, if you need tap water specifically for medication purposes, such as mixing a powder or rinsing certain medical equipment, bring a travel water filter or use bottled water from the start. Don't leave this to chance in a foreign port. Number 15. Never store everything in the obvious spots. Cruise cabins are small, but they have more hidden storage than most people find. Check under the beds, there's usually clearable space for a large suitcase. Look at the back of the bathroom door. Check whether there are shelves behind the main closet door or inside the wardrobe above the hanging bar. Some ships, particularly on Holland America and Cunard, have genuinely clever built-in storage that goes completely unused because guests don't look for it. A little exploration on day one saves you a week of things piled on the desk. Number 16. Never leave a mess and assume the steward will sort it completely. Your cabin steward is responsible for more cabins than most people realize, often somewhere between 15 and 20 cabins per person, sometimes more. They do remarkable work in a very short window of time. Help them help you. Keep the bathroom roughly tidy, keep clothes off the floor when you can, and consolidate any trash. You'll find your cabin comes back looking genuinely refreshed rather than just surface tidied. This isn't about doing their job for them, it's about making it possible for them to do it well. Veteran cruisers understand this relationship, and it makes a real difference. And now number 17. This is the one I'd never skip. This is the one I consider the single most important habit you can build in your cruise cabin. And it's the one I see experienced cruisers neglect more than any other. Never skip the in-cabin safety review on day one, the muster drill information, the location of your life jackets, and the evacuation route from your specific cabin to your muster station. I know. You've done it before, you know how it works, you've been on enough ships that this feels like a formality. But here's the honest truth. Every ship is laid out differently. Your muster station this sailing may not be where it was last time. The route from your cabin, especially if you're in a different part of the ship than usual, may go through corridors you've never walked. Since the shift to e-mustering on lines like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian, a lot of cruisers watch the video on their phone in the cabin and consider it done. Watch the video and then walk the route. Actually walk from your door to the muster station once on embarkation day. Count the corridor turns. Notice the emergency lighting strips along the floor. It takes 8 minutes. And if you ever need that information quickly, in the dark, in a stressful situation, you want it to be something your body remembers, not something you're trying to recall. This is the one most people skip. Please don't skip it. Now, if you've been cruising for years and you've developed your own cabin habits, I genuinely want to hear them. What's the first thing you do when you walk into your cabin? What do you always bring that you'd never leave home without? Drop it in the comments. This community of seasoned cruisers is one of the best parts of doing this, and your experience is worth sharing. If some of these surprised you, or if you've been making one or two of them without realizing it, that's exactly why we do this. Not to make anyone feel bad, but to make the next sailing better. No judgment here. Some of these are habits that take a few trips to build. The fact that you're watching means you care about cruising well, and that already puts you ahead of most people who walk up that gangway. Next time, I'm covering the things you should do on embarkation day, the first few hours on the ship that most cruisers waste, and the specific moves that veterans make before most passengers have even found their cabin. A few of these will genuinely change how your whole sailing feels from day one, so subscribe if you don't want to miss it. If today's video was useful, a thumbs up takes 2 seconds and it helps this channel more than you might think. And if you found your way here today and you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time to change that. Smooth seas, and I'll see you next time.